Alright, so we're going to check out some parallel processing with the Truetone Route 66. So what's cool about this pedal is you got a clean mix knob for the compression side and also the overdrive side. And what that is basically doing is if the knob is rolled all the way counterclockwise, you have a full dry signal. Then as you start rolling it in, it's going to start bringing in that compression sound to where it's fully 100% wet. And you're not hearing any of the dry signal anymore. So what you can do with that is you can also have it in 50%, 25%, 75%, whatever you want. And you can really spank the signal with the compression and then just barely sneak it into the signal. So you get all your dynamics of your dry signal, but you get a little more compression and a little more squeeze and sustain out of your notes and chords. So let me go ahead and put this on. Let's figure out a good compression sound. And then we can go from there. So here's my clean tone. So first thing I like to do is find where the neutral point is on the volume, so it's the same on or off. Alright, now I think it's a good overall sound, but that is 100% wet. So this is what it sounds like dry. Now you can affect the overall volume with this. So even with the clean mix down, you can use the volume as a boost, which is really cool. And you can do that on both sides as well as with the overdrive. So you still want to find that good neutral point in the volume. And now let's start blending back in some of that compression. And I do love this pedal because it really fattens up your clean tone. And here it is, 100% dry. And 100% wet. Alright, so you can just keep turning that clean mix knob until you find a good setting to where, it's still has plenty of dynamics, but it's still getting some good compression in there as well. So, now with the tone on and off, that kind of just, right now the tone's off. So even if I have this tone all the way down, this knob right now is not doing anything. But a side effect of compression is it tends to roll off some high end. So what we can do, we can set this to 12 o'clock. Let's put the tone on. And then you can kind of make it a little brighter sounding. Or you make it darker sounding. So there's my original clean tone. So we've fattened it up, we've brightened it up a little bit. Just made it sound a lot fuller. So all right, very cool. Let's move on over to the overdrive side. And this has a drive, treble, volume, and a bass, and also a clean mix, and two different voicings here. A gives you a little more open sound, and then B gives you a little bit more of a compressed sound. So we're going to start off with A, and turn the pedal on. Start with a drive relatively low. And let's figure out our neutral point for the volume. Let's put the bass at 12 o'clock. Now what's good about this bass knob though is most tube screamer-ish type pedals tend to roll off bass and also some high end. So the treble and bass kind of help counteract that, and you can dial in a little bit more sparkle and girth if you want to in your overdrive tone. So we'll set that at 12 o'clock right now. So you can kind of hear that it's at the edge of breakup. Let's go ahead and crank the drive up a little bit more. Bring it up to 12 o'clock. And with me, a common rule of thumb is the more gain you have, the less bass you need. Because that extra gain ramps up the lower frequencies a little bit more. So it's okay to turn the bass knob down a little bit. Now I'm going to turn the gain down. I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit. Alright, so now that we got that figured out, let's roll the clean mix back a little bit. And what we're going to do is start hearing more of that dry signal come through. A little bit more dry. Now what's cool about this, if you understand how tube screamers work, I'm not saying that this is an exact tube screamer, but it's kind of acting in the same characteristic of a tube screamer, in that you almost hear this parallel clean tone underneath the overdrive, and you can really mimic that effect even more with a clean mix here. So even though I can have the mix all the way up, there's still just a tad little hint of clean tone in there. But the clean mix really helps to accentuate that even more. turn the gain up a little bit more. Okay, and this is with the clean mix all the way down. So like I said before, you could even use the volume as a boost if you want to. But we'll keep it down by the neutral area. Let's go ahead and go over to the B voicing. So this is going to be a lot more compressed and just more drive overall. So roll it back. Switch back over to the A voicing. So you can hear that it's a lot more open sounding. Here's the B. Back to A. So when you're on B and you want to hear a little bit more high end, just roll up that treble knob a little bit more. Mix all the way up. So now let's listen to both sides together. Let's roll the mix back a little bit on this one and turn the compression on. So here's just the compression first. Alright, well there you go. So you can get all kinds of levels of compression, dirt, and any combination of both. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.